Hey guys, my name is Abhishek and welcome back to MBBS Treasure channel. Today we are going to discuss the second part of anaphylactic or type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. If you have not watched the part 1 of the hypersensitivity reaction type 1, that is anaphylactic reaction, please go to my playlist of pathophysiology and there you will find the first part of this topic, that is type 1 hypersensitivity. Okay, because this part 2 is related with part 1. If you will not watch the part 1, then you may not understand completely the second part of this video, so I request you to please watch that part 1. Okay, let's begin our today's topic. Today's topic is about the anaphylactic mediators. What are these mediators? Listen, this hypersensitivity reaction has been classified according to different types, and it has 5 types. And according to different types, they have different kinds of mediators. That is the reason why this hypersensitivity are divided. And so this anaphylactic reaction will also have separate mediators. These anaphylactic mediators are divided according to early phase mediators and late phase mediators. What do you mean by this early phase mediators and late phase mediators? Early phase mediator means if the mediators will be produced within few seconds of degranulation. Okay, I have already explained the process. What do you mean by degranulations in the mast cells or the basophil cells, respectively in tissues or in blood vessels. Okay, so when there will be the process of degranulations, then the mediators will be attaching to the surface or the membrane of the mast cell, and then the granules will get diffused to the surface, and then they will secrete these kinds of mediators. So if the mediators are produced in few seconds, then they will be known as early phase mediators, and if they will be produced like 5 to 10 minutes later or the degranulation process will takes place after 5 to 10 minutes, then we will call it as late phase mediators. These early phase mediators are also for short acting. Okay, so these are short acting, and these late phase mediators are long term. So these are the differences that you should remember between early phase and late phase mediators. One thing I want to clear, that these early phase mediators, whatever these mediators are present, they will try to enhance the inflammation reaction, or they will try to enhance the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. The clinical manifestation will be enhanced or will be increased by these kinds of mediators. But what are the help or what is the effects of these late phase mediators? They will try to inhibit the process or the effect that will be caused by these types of early phase mediators. Okay, so if I will write plus sign here, it means they will try to enhance or increase the rate of type 1 hypersensitivity reaction or the clinical manifestation, but the late phase will try to balance by inhibiting the process. So if it is a stimulator, then it will be a inhibitor. Okay, so let's read about the types of mediators that are coming under these two kinds or classified mediators. In early phase mediators, it has the histamine, serotonin, prostaglandin, E2 specially, leukotrienes, fat or PAF, then polypeptides. What is the function of histamine? Listen, histamine, serotonin, prostaglandins, these are the three most important mediators that are formed in inflammations. So if I will say you what are the key mediators that are produced in inflammations, first the name should be in your mind, that is histamine, serotonin and prostaglandins. So what are the cause, why they are produced and what they cause? First of all, the histamine, let's say for example this is a blood vessels. Okay, here the allergen or the effect will takes place. Okay, so what will happen, it will increase the vessel permeability. It means if this is the vessel, then it will increase the vessel permeability. What does that means? The blood particles that were coming will try to escape from this. Okay, when they will escape, what will happen? The region surrounding it will be filled with the blood particles or the blood cells or blood elements. Okay, so when this surrounding will get filled due to the increasing in the vascular permeability, then this condition will be called as edema. Okay, or redness. Okay, redness, edema, inflammations. Okay, next what will happen? It will cause a dilation of microcirculatory vessels. You see, if this condition will takes place, then the vessel will completely not rupture, rather it will get inflamed. Okay, so there will be dilation of microcirculatory vessels. If this, at this exact location, if there will be micro vessel dilation, what will happen? It means more blood will flow, and less blood will accumulate in the venous end of the capillary or the venous end of the artery. Okay, so what will happen? It will decrease the blood pressure. There will be a rising of acute hypotension conditions at this very region, and it will also promote contraction of smooth muscles. If the histamines are released in the local blood vessels, like in this region or in the bronchus or bronchial tree, then it will cause the bronchoconstriction due to the contraction of smooth muscles. Like for an example, in case of asthma, as we are going to read the what are the pathophysiological changes or what are the diseases coming under this hypersensitivity, I want to give one example. The asthma comes under this hypersensitivity reaction. Why? Because asthma means there will be bronchoconstriction, acute bronchial constriction, and that is due to production of the histamine that causes the or that promotes the contraction of smooth muscles. Next comes the serotonin. Serotonin also helps or stimulates the process of bronchial constrictions or any kind of contraction in the smooth muscles, like in the intestinal walls. Okay, so it will be causing the contraction of the smooth muscles. Next comes the prostaglandins. Specifically, there are prostaglandin E2 in early phase mediators. What is their function? Their function is to increase the viscosity of mucus. If there will be contractions of the smooth muscles, the mucus glands that are present in the bronchus or bronchial tree, they will try to secrete. Due to the constriction, they will try to provoke, they are provoked to secrete something. That is the reason why the mucus will be highly viscous or it will be getting concentrated because of this prostaglandin secretion. So when there will be increasing in the prostaglandin secretion, it will increase the viscosity of mucus productions or any kind of secretion that leads to exudation. Next, the same effect, for example, is like the spasm of the smooth muscles, and it also helps in this edema. It has hands in the edema process. Next comes the leukotrienes. Leukotrienes is otherwise known as SRSA, slowly reactive substance of allergens. These are produced, but they will having the effects, the slow reactive effects of allergy. And what do you mean by this? This means it will increase the permeability, like in that case of histamine, but this helps in the process. It means this stimulate, all these things are going to stimulate the process of inflammations. Okay, next, spasm of smooth muscles, like in the case of serotonin. Next comes the irritation of pain. This is the most important part or the most important function of the leukotrienes. What is that? It will irritate, or there will be increasing in the pain sensation due to the nociceptors or the pain receptors in the bronchial pleura. Okay, as the nociceptors are not present in the bronchial tree, they will be activating the nociceptors that are present in the pleura or any kind of other sensitive part of our internal organs. Okay, next comes the fat or factor of activation of thrombocytes or platelet activating factors. Listen, as we are talking here about the platelet or thrombocytes as they're saying, so what will happen if in a normal blood vessels these platelets are present but they are not present in active condition. If a factor will try to activate these platelets or thrombocytes, then in the next step what will happen, they will try to clog the vessels. After activation they will try to clog or block the vessels. Due to that reason, what happens, there will be coronal vessel spasm. It may affect our heart. There could be spasm in the coronary vessels, and that could lead to bradycardia, as the heart will not get enough blood, so it cannot pump and the heart rate will decrease, and that may lead to bradycardia condition. Next comes the arterial hypotension. As the similar explanation will be like that, as it will cause the blocking of the vessels, then the blood will not be going to the venous end of the artery capillaries. Okay, so there will be increasing of the pool of blood before this clog, and hence it will decrease the blood pressure and it will cause this hypotension condition. So it could lead to arrhythmia condition, as they may affect the heart also. Next, it will increase the pressure in pulmonary artery. If this is heart, okay, if this is heart and the pulmonary artery, what do you mean by pulmonary artery? The artery or the vessels taking the blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. Okay, so as the enough amount of blood is not circulating in the greater or systemic circulation, and there will be decreasing in the blood pressure, as the blood is not coming in proper amount to the right atrium from the superior vena cava, and the inferior vena cava. So due to the blockage, so the pressure will increase from in the pulmonary artery. So that is why it's written there will be increasing in the pressure in the pulmonary artery. Next, it's a powerful constrictor of bronchial tree. As we have seen, this will affect or this will stimulate the cause of inflammations or sudden bronchial constriction. So it will also help in that powerful constrictor of bronchial tree. Next comes the polypeptide. There are two important polypeptides that you should know about. One is hemasa and second one is tryptasa. In hemasa will help in activation of the mucus glands that are present in the bronchial tree. Okay, the mucus will be that it will all help in increasing in the secretion of the mucus gland in the bronchial tree, as like we see that it will increase the viscosity of mucus, so it will also help in that process of increasing the viscosity or increasing the secretion of mucus from the mucus glands. Second one, the tryptasa activates a certain reactions, that is kinase system of the plasma. What the kinase system means? Kinase system is a part of the inflammations. It will help in increasing the inflammations that we are going to read in our future chapters. So don't worry about the kinase system or what do you mean by kinase system. Just you need to understand that it's a system of our body that helps in response for inflammation. So it get activated during the process of inflammations. So this process will be more activated by this tryptasa polypeptide. So these are the effects of the early phase mediators, and they tries to enhance or they tries to increase the process of inflammations or acute conditions by short span of time. Next comes the late phase mediators. What are its function? After the effects produced by these early phase mediators, they will try to inhibit these effects. So let's see some examples of these mediators. Like it consists of this histaminase. I want to more I want to give stress on this word, that is histaminase. Just see the word ending with "ase." It means it will break the histamine. So the most students get confused with these two words, histamine and histaminase. Histamine helps in the process of inflammations, whereas the histaminase enzyme break the histamine molecule. So it destroys and inhibits the histamine, due to the reason which this whole or the properties or property functions of the histamine will be inhibited. Next comes the prostaglandin E1. What is the function? It will decrease the degranulation process of the basophils and mast cells. If the process of degranulation will decrease, then the biologically active substances will not be produced, or it will be decreasing too. So the degranulation process, what do you mean by degranulation process? The process of fusion of the granules to the next surface membrane of the mast cells or the basophil cells, and then proceeding with releasing of the mediators from the mast cells is nothing but known as degranulations. I have already explained in the part 1 of this type 1 hypersensitivity, so please watch that for more confirmations. So decreasing in the degranulations process will be done by this prostaglandin E1, because the prostaglandin E1 knows if I will not decrease the process of mediators production, then what will happen? These reactions will exceed from the normal, and this allergy can never be healed. So this is a inhibiting process. So these mediators will try to inhibit this process. Okay. Next comes the aryl sulfatase. Aryl sulfatase is a destroyer of this SRSA. SRSA means slowly reactive substance of allergy. The reactive substance of allergy, that is leukotrienes, will be destroyed by this aryl sulfatase. Next comes the phospholipids B and D. Phospholipids B and D inhibits the factor activators of thrombocytes, platelet activating factors. Thrombocytes and platelets are all same, so I have written it in this last minute. So it inhibits the fat or PAF. Next comes the polysaccharide mediators. Polysaccharide means it's a group of sugar molecules, like for an example heparin, heparin. Heparin is nothing but a natural anticoagulant, whereas heparin is heparan sulfophosphoglycate. It's a heparan sulfophosphoglycate compound. It helps in different biomolecular processes, like for an example, it acts as an enzymatic catalysis. So these polysaccharide mediators that will be produced in these late phase mediators are helpful in promoting the process of inhibition. Which process? Allergic process. So they will inhibit this allergic process, and they will also inhibit this kinin system. The one that was activating the kinin system was tryptasa, and the one that were deactivating, for say, they will be inhibiting the process. They are heparin and heparan polysaccharide compounds. So now we have learned the early phase mediators and late phase mediators. So next we are going to read about the pathophysiological changes. What are the clinical and local manifestation? So next we are going to see the pathophysiological changes. Till now we have discussed the immunoreactions. Second one, the pathochemical changes due to the production of the anaphylactic mediators or the chemical mediators. Then the third one we are going to discuss is the pathophysiological changes. What do you mean by these pathophysiological changes? Yes, in this stage what happens, there will be appearance of the clinical manifestations that we will see when the reactions or this hypersensitivity type 1 reactions occur. What happens? This is a complex change of function, structure, biochemical properties of the cells, tissue, organs, and why that thing occurs or why these changes occur. This occurs due to production of the mediators. As we have discussed before, there are two types of mediators, like late phase and the early phase and late phase mediators. So they will form their effects, and that we are going to read in this pathophysiological changes as clinical manifestations. So the clinical manifestations are divided according to the local manifestation and general manifestation. Local manifestation means it is this manifestation will show at the place where this allergen will penetrate, or the allergen will try to cause the effect, and it is this local manifestation we can see in a particular region. But this general manifestation means at it means this manifestation will be present generalized in total body. What are the changes that will be occurring in this anaphylactic reactions? So this generalized manifestation is known as anaphylactic shock. Anaphylactic means, if you will divide the term, anaphylaxis means severe or harmful. So this shock is a very severe harmful condition of, or a condition that may lead to death of the person. So this should be managed. So that is the reason why it is known as general manifestation. This shock will be produced in the total body due to this anaphylactic reactions. So let's see what are the symptoms or the manifestations that we can see in the local. There can be spasm of the bronchial tree, and that could be in case of bronchial asthma. So if I will say, or if I will ask you the question that in which kind of hypersensitivity or in which disease we are going to see the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, yes, the answer will be bronchial asthma, because in case of bronchial asthma there are spasm of the bronchial tubes of the smooth muscles. So that is the reason why we will see the manifestation. It will constrict and the air passage will be not in proper amount. Next comes the allergic local manifestation. What will happen? It can cause the diseases like there will be inflammation of the nose, rhinitis, pharyngitis, laryngitis, tracheitis, and bronchitis. So these inflammations due to the allergic reactions will be coming under this anaphylactic reactions. Next comes the dilation of the arterioles, as we have mentioned, due to the mediators like histamine, serotonin, and prostaglandins as the main mediators. So they will be forming these kinds of dilation of arteriole. They will try to increase the vascular permeability and they will irritate the nerve ending. Due to that, there will be the reasons like formation of edema, pain due to the nerve ending irritation, and redness, allergic rash on the skin, on skin, and there could be conjunctivitis. So these are the local manifestation that we will see in a particular region. Next comes the general manifestation. As now I have said that general manifestation is otherwise known as anaphylactic shock, or a severe form of a shock that needs to be checked. If this will not be checked, then the person could die. So what are the generalized manifestation that could occur in this anaphylactic reactions? Yes, it can be arterial hypotension. And why it occurs? Due to the violation of generalized hemodynamics, means blood circulations. And if there will be generalized dilations of the blood vessels, if the blood vessels that are present in our whole body will be dilated, what does that mean, or what it will lead? It will lead to this condition, arterial hypotension. Our blood pressure will decrease and our heart will stop its normal function. That may cause this shock condition. Next comes the microcirculation disorder. This could happen due to the extra thing that I want to add, due to blood clotting, due to the activation of platelet activating factors. These mediators may activate the formation of these platelets and they may lead to the blood clotting mechanisms. And if it will be present in a generalized manner in our whole body, small blood clots will be present, then it will lead to microcirculation disorder, and this will samely lead to atrial hypotension, acute hypotension, and blood clotting, and it is a condition of shock. Next, the breathing insufficiency due to the bronchoconstrictions, as I have said, the spasm of the bronchioles. And if the whole bronchioles will be constricted, then what will happen? The breathing insufficiency will take place. The person will deprived of the oxygen, and it may lead to death. So it is a very cautious moment for the person that it should be treated in the anaphylactic shock. So we have completed the anaphylactic type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. So if you find these videos are helpful and if you understood the topic completely, so please share and give a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you so much.